Generally on censorship, let us
itself,
talk
as a
about
concept,
censorship as
yeah.
such. See, there are always two sides for the coin.
Yeah.
Many will say it's not needed. Many will say it is needed. Now, how do you define which is good for somebody and how can it be bad for somebody? And it's a very thin line actually. You see, um, I personally don't have any censor issues. There are no cuts in my films because I do self censorship myself. I believe even my biggest mass films like Basha or Annamalai or Satya, there have been no cuts.
Okay.
I draw a line myself. What I can't see, what I get disturbed with, which is not necessary, I think. Or tomorrow, if it is a family audience film, I don't want certain things. Tomorrow, I should sit with my wife and children, and I wriggle in the seats. I never want that to happen.
Mm.
So, what happens when you have that level of self censorship? Then I think 99 of your problem is solved. But then depends. Now there are certain subjects some directors take which needs that kind of violence or needs kind of certain dialogues and certain realistic subjects they take. So there is always this level of oh, see, even if you see some footage, even in your when it's coming on some of the channels, they will say this video contains disturbing images. They will put it,
Mm.
even though they will put it, but it is disturbing, like head chopping. Now you don't want to show it on a public screen, and we never in Indian circumstances you will see that any no adults are only allowed. You will never see such strict sense on the gate. Nobody will stop. A man with little moustache, he will also get in, or somebody will walk in. But the impact it will have on his psychic, it works. It really becomes bad at come sometime. It has its own disturbing elements. So it's better to one as a director you think there is your some responsibility to a society. You think you should not do certain things, don't do it. But if you think this, if you're taken up a subject and you know it's going to be having some disturbing images, I think the best thing will be to meet the censor officials initially. Say the subject I'm taking. I expect these things. What is my level of how far I can go? If it is a sex-oriented movie or it is a disturbing violence or the subject you're taking, because see you are talking of not an evolved society like America. Everybody understands everything. Like even the other day Oscars, everybody when there was a racism problem, they're openly talking about it, which you can never do here. So we are talking of a very, very highly evolved society, and here we are still. There are certain areas. There are not many people educated also when they are in the film fraternity also. If you ask them to go through computers and emails and all those downloads, they will not know. They have some idea about cinema. They don't even get educated into the actual the way cinema should be done. But they are successful. That's not the point. The point is, will everybody understand this censorship situation? So somewhere a code of conduct is necessary. Has to have certain some kind of a drawing of line. Now, all those lines which are there are very difficult to put it on paper. It is like what is a good film, a bad film? How do you put it on paper? The same problem comes, isn't it?
But do you think the line that's drawn right now is drawn at more or less the right spot? Do you think censorship today is more than it should be in the industry, or do you think you can say it's about
See,
right?
again, it is all interpretation now. The problem is interpreting it. See, when I went as a jury to many of the national awards and Panorama, the same situation arose. I liked the film. The man next to me didn't like it. I don't have a paper which says these are all the best the points which has to be taken into consideration for a good film. There is nothing like that because mathematics, this is correct or this is wrong. Art, how do you judge it? So we ourselves then sat together because there was so much of diverse opinions. I said, let us put it. Our chairperson sat and we said, okay, how do we rate this? You didn't like it, I liked it, and so we had to come some kind of a common agenda. that situation is always tricky. Take censorship. Now, if I leave it here, tomorrow I am problem in another place. If it's again that person who is watching that. There are every time 5 different censor officers watching it. Not necessarily the same thinking will happen. Some people like only family films. You are asked them to suppose see a very violent film. For him, a small shot will be disturbing. So how judgment part is very difficult. That problem is 100% not a situation where you will continuously be debatable. There is no end to it. Unless you have an evolved society like America where people, they say you do it, we will decide which is good or bad for us. Or the actors decide this is enough. Or the director says that the script says this enough.
So having worked in the industry for so long, what is your take on whether it actually interferes with the artistic process? Like you said, we are not like America, right? We can't have everything out there. So do you think when people are coming up with scripts and people are directing scripts, right, they think, okay, I might not be able to get this passed, so let me not do that. Do you think that actually takes its toll on the artistic process, and as a result, the art we see?
Yes, to an extent it will. There is no second thought on that. Because you are now taking up, suppose somehow this terrorist situation. Somewhere it has happened, say Bombay terrorist attack. You start taking it. Or yesterday there was a news about in Thana, a man killed 16 of his family. That is your subject. How will you do it? How will you show it? Yes, it is sensational. But how do you show that? If I show it as it is, then as a censor officer, I should not be allowing it, isn't it? So where the problem is now, the person who takes the subject should know there will be problems tomorrow. So when you take it up, how are you going to show it? Will the audience want to see such a film? Is also another debatable question. But now we are looking at a huge different audience today. There is one who have been watching all the update films, latest films world over. They have seen, be it Korean, be it Chinese, or any French. They have seen everything. They want certain films. Why are these films not being made in India? There is one group. One group, once in a way, they go to a movie for entertainment. Now you are finding very difficult to get to get a film where everybody likes it. So either it runs only in cities, in multiplex, or it never runs anywhere, or it runs only in the down place. It never runs here. So it's a continuous confusion that is going on right now. So, but people are taking up sensational subject, and they are finding that they are not getting the correct censors cleared for that. They get bugged up. But because of this diverse things happening, I think somewhere that drawing of line is important in our country. But then, till what level is the situation? That is the biggest question. Because you cannot put it in words. They will only say in that the censor board, if you see that, it should not be more than this. Can you put the percentage of violence? Can you put the percentage of blood? How can you put it on paper? So the best is, I think the directors themselves should take up that call.
Okay.
The writers, the makers should take up that call.
So one final question: do you think it's completely true? It's interpreted, but do you think right now, as it's being practiced, it's consistent? As in, like you just said, it's very hard to quantify it.
Yeah.
But is there a certain level of consistency that says, okay, if this is not allowed, this is not allowed all across the board? Or do you find some inconsistencies as far as like different movies are concerned? As in, some things get a pass and other things don't in other cases.
No, it depends. We should have seen all the films to comment on that. We only know that Bond film, there was a lot of cuts we know. With other films, we are not aware of it. So we should go see all those films, the portions which were cut. Were they correct in that? Like there was a film which there was some totally vulgar double meaning dialogue film. There was 100 cuts in it, I heard.
Okay.
Now we don't know how far it is correct, how far it is wrong. Now we should see those movies. Maybe all the youth should go and somebody should show all those filmmakers. They should show the films to them and see, are we correct in that? Maybe then slowly take a referendum on why this is okay, this is okay. 3 times it will happen, 4th time they will allow it. Maybe a solution. But the difficult part is interpreting the censor board laws. Very difficult. Thematically, they say thematically it should not be violent. It should not cross the limit. Again, what is the limit? So they give a certificate, UA, parental guidance, and all that will keep coming on that. We don't have strict gate crashing here. Anybody walk in, or they can download it and see it also tomorrow.
Sure.
So they're worried about so many things. Because then the next debatable question is violence happening because of cinema? Is a lot of rapes happening because of cinema? These questions will keep on coming. It's continuous process. There is finally you are the film maker. You think you have some responsibility towards the society. Have it, do it. That's all. But if you start going there and you are ready to get into that, then there is a difficulty. Then you have to face it. Then the interpretation question will come. Then they have revising committees. What they say, you don't have to accept it. The censor. Then you can wait. You say, I'll go to the revising committee. Then the revising committee, there's a judge there on that. Again, judge will go by law. Art cannot be interpreted in that. But there is another level of revising committee is there. Then you can go to one more step. So 3 layers for that. But by the time it will take a lot of time for your film to get released. 3 months, 6 months. But it is a call we have to take. Either do some film which is good for the world, or do something for a particular subject you want to fight for it, risk your everything for it, go ahead, do it. I didn't do it. That's it.
Thank you, sir.